faster.
It does.
It's like a racing stripe.
It adds like 10 horsepower.
It makes it aerodynamic.
Yeah. Hangover Harescramble 2019. I'm 10 West Moto. We are here at Budds Creek, Maryland for the 2019 Hangover Harescramble. These are the younger guys, I think 12 and under, 13 and under, small classes, like a 85 and lower CC bike. And these guys are getting it. Let me tell you, they are awesome. So to start the day off right, this is the very first race of the new series, the SXCS Sprint Cross Country Series out here in Maryland, and they're going to be in West Virginia some. What's unfortunate for these young guys here that are racing, their race got stopped and restarted again at 11 o'clock when we were supposed to race because somebody did not put the tape up in the right spots, and these guys actually ended up on the A and B class riders trail. Very bad idea. So after about an hour and a half wait from our original start time, now it's time to go back up to the starting line, see if we can get a spot and start our race. Now I was expecting a decent turnout for this race just because it's Budds Creek, the pros race here. And everybody's going to want to come out and ride the motocross track that the pros ride on. So we had, I think it was 67 people, and just my class alone, 67 riders in my class, and over 500 registered to race in this event. I had well over 3 hours worth of footage from just this race alone. I edited it down as much as I possibly could and got to 40 minutes. I appreciate you guys watching. You definitely want, there's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens in this race. You're gonna love every minute of it. I do want to mention there were no numbers registered for this race, so you had to stick on your bike. It wasn't an AMA race, and even though some of the guys got AMA points for it, I don't understand how that happened. But that's what made this part going to the starting line so difficult for a lot of people, because not only was the line way too smushed together and like bottlenecked, we ended up taking this tape down right there. Look at how many people, and this isn't even everybody. There's more people that are waiting, signing up, trying to bring their bikes down to start. It was extremely hard to find the class that you were in because nobody had numbers on them. Nobody had number designations or letters stating I'm in this class. You had a sticker on the side of your helmet that read whatever class you're in, and it said it at the bottom. It was very hard to tell. I went around a couple times till I found my class, and by then I had a kind of a terrible spot to start in, but can't really complain. I made it to the starting line. So it didn't have too bad of a start. The boost clutch is awesome. I absolutely love it on this bike. The unfortunate part is this guy right here threw a whole bunch of that sticky mud on my goggles. So I had to slow down because I couldn't see, pull my goggles off down over my mouth, and tried to keep on going. I had talked a little while before we even got to the race about the motocross track and who all is just going to be out here to race on this track, and who's just basically going to be a disaster to deal with in the woods. And you're always going to get that guy that wants to clear all the jumps, and I really did not want somebody to try and do that because I was not trying to clear them. I didn't want them to land on me. I just don't want some guy that's here to win it all land on top of me. I saw this guy's shadow coming up and actually felt either his front fender or his boot, or it could have been his front tire, on my back. Luckily, he hit the eject button and dumped over. I don't know who that guy was, but if he's watching this, I really appreciate that because that could have been extremely bad for the both of us. So this is the start of the wood section. Now, you can see how cluttered it is. I had decided before this race there's going to be a lot of people that are just out there for motocross that really don't have a whole lot of experience in the woods. I'm not saying that I have a lot of experience in the woods either, but I'm going to get through them and I'm going to get around them. So these guys that are kind of slowing down and putting along, causing all these bottlenecks, I'm going to find a way around as many of them as I possibly can. Something that I underestimated was how muddy it is back here and how muddy it was going to be this entire race. There's literally no traction. It is like everyone's riding on ice, basically. Your tail end is all over the place if you give it a little too much throttle. Your front end wants to wash out if you're not trying to wait and de-weight. It's just it's a trial and error, and it's a lot of figuring out very last second. First little bit of comical relief here. A buddy of mine saw this video and pointed out what that little piece of mud kind of looks like. It's a little funny, you know, if you use your imagination. So the result of people getting stuck on these hills and slowing down and stopping or trying to figure out how they're going to get around them is my bike overheats. And if I'm not moving, my bike is going to stop. It's going to overheat. So I'm trying to find a different line. I'm trying to find a way around everybody. Picking different lines is picking different lines. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it does not. I feel like I learned something here. Picking a different line, trying to go around a hill, just doesn't work. Now let's try and get unstuck. Now we got that out of the way, and we're extremely tired and exhausted. The bike's overheating, covered in mud, and stuck on this hill. Let's see what we can do. Here's another prime example of people kind of going up a hill and then just stopping and trying to figure out how they're going to continue to go up it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's extremely frustrating, especially when you got the momentum going and you're going up the hill. I'm waiting on these guys to get out of the way so I can try and come down this little gully and up and over. And it's just, it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't understand it. I don't know why you would want to stop on a hill or at the bottom of a hill to try and figure out how you're going to get over it. Just go over it. Just my opinion. I know you guys can't really tell it on here, but a majority of the woods trail was a lot of hills, a lot of ups and downs, and there was very little flat sections. And the flat sections that we had were covered in roots and mud, kind of like the one I just got stuck on. So to me, there's a huge difference and a very different feel between racing and riding. With riding, I probably would have sat down for a few minutes and waited on some buddies to come over and help me get my bike out of that rut that I was stuck in. Racing, there's no way I'm going to sit down and wait for somebody to come and help. I'm going to try and dig my bike out, try and push it, pull it, flip it over, get it out as much easily as I can, so I can get back to the race and try and come in a decent place and enjoy the rest of the actual trail. I've gotten really tired of following these guys through that trail. Try to pick a different line so I can kind of get around them a little bit. Now keep in mind, I still don't have any goggles on, so everything they're kicking up is going right into my face, which isn't the safest thing. It's not the safest option, but at least I can kind of see, basically. So what I did really like was they mixed this track and trail together extremely well. I wasn't aware that we were coming back out on the motocross track until it actually happened. I knew it was going to happen, but it blended well together. So that was a very good key point into this race. The flow was awesome, given all the downfalls and bad stuff that actually went along with the race. So as unfortunate and irritating as it is, you do get stuck behind some people that you just have no way around them, and it causes problems and irritation. But we do end up getting around this guy, luckily. Yeah, I'm still not sure why he stopped right there. Doesn't really matter. I had a few conversations with some people, some of the other riders, from this race once it was done. And the guys that I talked to, unfortunately, were only there to ride the motocross track, and I was told that. And you can tell who was fluent in the woods and who was not, who is actually racing the woods and who has not, just because of how they're riding. So when they come into an obstacle, they stop or they slow down or they hesitate extremely bad. So it causes problems down the line, it causes bottlenecks, and just a bunch of frustration for the other riders that are trying to get a good flow and get through the trail. Now, I'm not saying I'm better than any of these guys that are out here riding. I just am saying that people should be more prepared for what they're going to be up against. You know. We were supposed to have transponders, which I actually have one on my helmet for the VCHSS. This is not a VCHSS race. So these guys ended up basically stopping with the notepad and a pen, checking your number on the side of your helmet, the sticker they gave me, and writing it down. And that was your lap time, and that's how they kept track of everyone. I'm really not sure what I clipped on his bike right there. It could have been a foot peg or the side of my boot or something. I'm pretty keen on where my handlebars are going, just because I would like to ride tight woods trails a lot. So I'm thinking a peg, you know, caught him or something like that, and we just went over. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. If you guys are paying attention like I usually do in these races, there's not a whole lot of tree markers, not a whole lot of trail markers telling you which direction to go and where the trail is headed. That one was pointing left when theoretically you should have gone left right there, but this other one led us right into the trail. So still kind of confused about that. I'm actually not really doing too bad in this muddy slop, considering there's not 400 people around me anymore. And I'm just kind of trying to slide through all of it because my rear end basically is just going left and right, trying to hang on and plow through it the best that I can. something I'm going to talk to you guys about is the chain and sprocket contraption that I put on this bike. Not really a contraption, I just kind of modified it a little bit. I went down one tooth in the front, up two in the back, and I do have a video coming out of that in a previous ride at Charles City next week. It's a prior video to this race, so I talk a little bit about the race and what we're hoping to do. Little did I know it was going to turn out like this, even though we got a late start and there's a couple serious injuries. I believe there's two guys that had to be blown out. One guy had a stick go through his neck. The other guy I'm not sure about. I know there was another person that came out of the woods that actually walked out with his eye kind of like cut open. I saw some pictures of him in the hospital with it all sewn up and everything, so he's doing better, which is good. I'm not sure about the other guys that got flown out, but as you guys can see, it is definitely a very tough race. Probably one of the toughest ones that I've been in so far. It's definitely in like the top 3, just because of the weather and the terrain, muddy, and the hills, and just the amount of people that were all over the place. It's definitely one that I will remember. You guys notice that my fault completely right there. I got kind of hemmed up behind a tree. The bike started to overheat because it wasn't moving. I'm trying to throttle around everything. And that's just how it works. I'm going to try some new radiators. I'm going to try a high temp pressure cap. I cannot put a fan kit on it because it doesn't have an electric start. So I don't have the components to actually wire a fan kit up to it yet. I might come up with a way around that. But the chain and sprockets, the sprocket idea it was amazing. This thing is lugging up these hills like it's nothing. All I have to do is make sure I'm positioned correctly on the seat, and it will literally just climb right up these hills, no hesitation whatsoever. One other point I wanted to tell you guys was my rear facing camera. I still have it, still works fine, but the SD card was corrupt. It stopped actually formatting, so I can't use it. It just decided it was going to give up on life, and that was it. So the funny thing about that little section right there was a guy that was actually trying to redirect traffic for some reason. Nobody was injured that I could see, and there's people that are actually stopping trying to listen to this guy. I don't think he was a marshal. He didn't have a vest on or anything, and I just decided he was nobody, and I'm going around all that stuff. So sometimes you pick a line, you got to deal with it. When you're trying to get around somebody and they're just giving it all they got and you just hemming you up, you kind of got to figure out a way. Either it's going to be good or bad. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's really bad. Now at this point I'm already stuck, so I'm trying to just throttle through it and see what I can come up with, but I'm actually just throwing water on my back right now.
I appreciate it.
Now we got that out of the way. There wasn't a mud hole that I was not going to attempt to go through anymore. That's why I'm going through all the mud now, because I've already seen the worst of the trail. The rest can't be any worse than that is. The guy that actually got me out of it, that poor guy, started my bike for me and actually rode it around for a second just to make sure everything was good to go, and I really appreciate that, considering I've been fighting with this thing and was just exhausted. Somewhere in my travels through this race, I did break my bark buster, but it's an easy fix, not a big deal. For a last effort of all energy I had to pass this guy just so I can get into scoring. I don't know if he's in my class or not, I didn't really care, but I'm getting around him. For all you guys that made it through the entire 40-minute video, I really appreciate it. I hope it was as exciting for you guys as it was for me racing it. My awesome wife is always at the race with me. And I was fortunate enough that my good buddy Sean was out here to see this race also. He rides with me a lot out in Charles City. Came out and was extremely excited and very supportive. Loved the race probably more than I loved racing it. So, I put up, in a few seconds you'll see some scoring from this race. A lot of guys, I don't know how they did it, but they got 11-minute laps. I highlighted them. I ended up 29th originally out of 67, I believe, and then overall they redid the score again, ended up 26th out of 67, which isn't too bad. I think I could have done a lot better if I hadn't got hung up. Still wondering about the guys that got 11-minute laps, because you guys saw what we were up against. There's no way you can get 11 minutes. But either way, here it is. Until next time, I'm 10 West Moto. I'll see you on the starting line.